Good evening. Buenas noches. Bienvenido. The final live stream of 2021. We get all your questions answered, whether that's real estate, whether that's mortgage, life, whatever advice you're looking for. I'm here to answer it. My hope is that by crowdsourcing answers to your questions about real estate, about mortgage, whether you're a real estate agent, a real estate investor, a buyer buying your first house, a fellow loan originator, wherever you are, whoever you are, we just dive into whatever questions you have each and every week. I learned something new. I hope you learned something new. And, together, we're just going to get a little bit smarter every single week. So without further ado, I will jump into it. I've already got some questions coming in. I see there's already a dozen people on here or whatnot. As we wait for people to join, as we wait for people to ask questions, I'll just tell you about a video I just got done recording. A common question, almost as common as what's your rate. People ask me, should I buy now or wait? So I just recorded a video, gave some of the numbers, which I think is important, like what happens when home prices go up 10%, what happens when mortgage rates go up 0.5%. But also, like, people want to know, is it better to buy in the winter? Is it better to buy in the summer? What months are best, right? And so, did a little 10 or 11 minute video that I just recorded. It will probably get edited and probably get onto YouTube by, let's call it Thursday. Some of the stuff doesn't apply, to be completely honest, when you're in a market with a ton of demand, very little inventory. Like, as much as you'd like to say, hey, there's more inventory in the summer because more people list, so you're going to have more stuff to choose from, but it's going to be more competitive. And in the winter, you can find better deals. There's less inventory, not as many houses to choose from, but better deals. Like, shoot, we're in friggin' December and stuff is flying off the shelves, right? Even the crap, to be completely honest. And so, some of the generals or the, rules of thumb about real estate and when and whatnot may not apply in some markets that are super hot, but at least you want to arm yourself with the information. And I hope with the video I recorded today, people take that and are able to decide for themselves. Because like I said in that video, you find a house you love with a payment you can afford, you should buy, right? And really your specific timing is what you're thinking about, whether you're buying an investment property or buying your primary, right? Like, when you're willing and able and it makes sense for you, that's when you buy, right? You don't try to time the market. And, there's all the cliche sayings about don't wait to buy and wait, right? Which I agree with, right? Like, real estate, you want to hold it for the long term. It's a long-term investment. It's not, the latest, altcoin where you're going to try to make 900% in 6 months. It's a long-term deal. It's going to win versus inflation. It's going to win over a decade or two or three. But anyhow, that's what's coming down the pipe as far as videos from me are concerned, as far as like what I'm thinking about right now, questions I'm getting, because that's the thing, people are ingesting whatever information they see. And the headlines that lead are home prices are up astronomical amounts, 15, 17, 18, some markets 25%. Mortgage rates are headed up. And so the people that come to me that might be more worried or more stressed about buying a house come 2022 are wondering, did I miss the boat? Is it too late? Should I buy now? Is it going to be a terrible idea to buy in a few months? And, if it's done correctly, where you buy a house that you love at a price you can afford and a payment you can afford, then there's no bad time to buy, right? And so anyhow, if you've got questions that pertain to that, more than happy to answer those. I think alongside being mortgage advisor and helping people through that, sometimes you got to be a counselor as well, right? And help people through, big financial decisions are emotional. Big financial decisions can be scary. And I think that I'm probably going to be in a similar seat to some financial advisors. Imagine a financial advisor telling somebody, hey, transfer $500,000 from that retirement account you had over to me. I got you. You're good. In the seat of a mortgage advisor, you're asking someone to entrust you with a large sum of money. Now, granted, they're not transferring that asset to you, but they're trusting you with that debt, that mortgage debt, and getting them into the best mortgage possible, the mortgage that makes the most sense, the mortgage that aligns with their goals and all that good stuff. So anyhow, without further ado, let's jump into some questions. The best part of this for sure is all these awesome questions that you guys ask. Kevin Hawthorne, hello in Florida. Hope you're doing well, brother. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you always being on here. Keep doing your thing out there. And 2022 is going to be your best year yet. I can feel it. All right. Hey, Evan, let's go. Closing on a house Thursday. I need to buy furniture and things. How long after the closing can I make a large purchase? Thank you for asking. I'm thanking you on behalf of all loan originators everywhere, right? If you're buying this furniture cash, it wouldn't really matter. If you're going to open up a new line of credit or add money to an existing line of credit, it's best that you wait until your loan is funded and your home is recorded. Recorded with the county means it's officially, it's in your name, it's all done. Truth be told, when it's funded from the lender, it's all done on our side. But let's say I'm closing on a house Thursday, right? So the 31st, that's the 30th. Just double, triple check. Hey, we're funded, we're recorded, right? And once those answers are answered yes, go have a ball this weekend and buy yourself whatever furniture you want and need. Happy New Year. Congrats on the new house. It's awesome. Buying something in Michigan. All right. My Lynn 23. Speaking of 23, got my kids some Jordans for Christmas. Lucky kids, man. And when I say I mean me and my wife and Santa Claus. We went, all three of us went in on. Now I can't see 23 without thinking about how crazy, I don't know. Amazing pair of Jordans. Tangent, sorry. I'm like easily distracted. Just refinanced my house 6 months ago. How long do I have to wait to get a Heloc on the same house? There's no true seasoning period between when you refinance and when you get a home equity line of credit. Those home equity lines of credit are generally going to be with a local bank, a credit union, and I would go apply with them. I don't think that they would care if you did it a month ago, right? Because they're just going to look at that debt you owe on the first on your refinance, and look at your debt to income ratio the same way a mortgage lender would, or somebody who's giving you a first. You owe 323 on your first mortgage. The house is worth 600. They're going to either do an appraisal or some automated valuation and say, hey, we're willing to go up to 80% loan to value, combined loan to value between that first and our home equity line on what we're going to extend you as a credit line. So yeah, you don't have to wait. Just go and apply. Let me know if you're in California and want to be connected with a banker I know. Been getting good feedback from the folks I've been referring over to my buddy George Pounders. Lawrence Briggs, buying a single family investment property with 15% down. Should I pay points to lower the interest rate? I don't know, because I wouldn't. And here's why I say I wouldn't, because 15% down, you're going to have mortgage insurance and you're going to have a high rate. No doubt about it. 15% down is possible buying a single family. But the terms are terrible. And by terrible, it's not the worst, right? But you're probably, I would imagine you're in the mid fours, and I would imagine mid fours. And as I'm imagining, I'm actually going to price it because I'm interested now. mortgage insurance as well, right? And so what you're going to have to think about is if you pay a bunch of points right now up front, and then you refinance down the road to remove that mortgage insurance, is it all for naught, right? Because 340 investment. My curiosity got the best of me, so I had to price this bad boy. So I'm pricing 15% down investment property, 400K purchase, $60,000 down. And I was right. You're like mid fours, $115 in mortgage insurance. And so, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily, pay a couple points to get it under 4%. Just take your might cost you a point to get to the low fours. So maybe you do that. Ooh. I priced it at a few different lenders. Whew. My best advice is put down 20%. If you can put down 25%. There's 3 different price buckets on an investment property on a single family. 15%, 20%, and 25%. 25% versus 15, light years better. Understand not everybody can do it, right? So not everybody has that extra capital, but if you can, I highly, highly recommend it. No Dawn, working with Adam West. Good to hear. If anybody doesn't know, Adam West is on my team at UMortgage. I've got quite a few loan officers helping me out since we're working in 44 states now. Good to hear. Working on a rapid rescore. If anybody doesn't know what a rapid rescore is essentially, we pull your credit. If you've got a 632 and you're looking to do something, and we know that at 640 credit score, you're going to get a lot better terms. Let's look at it. You might pay your credit card down from $950 to $200 on your Home Depot card. It's got a $1,000 limit. That might increase your score by 28 points. Now we got you to a 660. Now you're going to get much better terms. Good to know that Adam is working with you there, and look forward to getting you rolling on whatever purchase you're looking to do, or refinance. Oh, refinance. You said that. Cool. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the feedback. All mortgage lenders use the same Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and it's a mortgage FICO score that they use. So it's not like you can go to one lender and they're going to use a different algorithm than another. Every single lender is using the same, mortgage credit pull to determine what your credit score is. And there's as much as people trying to, look at different things online to figure out what their credit score is, just run your credit with a lender, and then you'll know, the middle of the 3 scores. They can provide you, with feedback on why your score might be what it is. All right. Arjali TV, thanks for joining. Buying a single family house 15% down. They charging me $6,000 for 2% in point. And now she's saying you might get me lender's credit. Does it sound right to you? So it sounds like maybe you got a $300,000 loan, and that's why you're saying it's $6,000 for 2 points, because 1 point equals 1% of the loan amount. Not knowing the whole scenario, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors with some online call center lenders. So I wouldn't trust necessarily them saying oh, don't worry, I'm gonna get you some lender credit. We'll help out there. For some people, paying 2 points might be necessary based on credit score, based on down payment, based on a lot of different things, right? So I'm not going to knock points and say, oh my gosh, you should never pay points, because for some people you have to, right? But I would certainly, here's the thing I see that I want people to avoid is someone showing you a great interest rate where you go, oh man, this person's getting me a 2.875. And then not realizing like, oh, these 2 points cost me $6,000 up front. And the difference between 2.875 and 3.125 might only be $33 a month in payment. And then if you got out your, $9 calculator like I had, and you said, what's 6,000 divided by 33? And realize like, oh, it's going to take me 181 months to break even. That doesn't sound like a good idea. You would never do that. You would never do something that has a 15-year break even. So you can always ping me on my site on mtmg.com. There's actually something that talks about do you I don't even have the new website on here. Let's do that. I guess I can do it a couple of different ways. MTMG. I mean, I spent the money to buy this friggin' domain. I might as well share it. You don't have to type out mattthemortgageguy.com anymore. You can now just type mtmg.com. And there's actually something on there that we created. Let me see. Second opinion. I have a quote from another lender to compare. If you want us to look at it, you can fill out that form. If you want to make it really easy, just fire me an email and attach it. matt@mtmg.com. Show me what they're showing you and just say, hey, my credit score is 680. This is a primary. Or my credit score is 720. This is an investment property. Whatever information you think we might need to actually look at it and see if it makes sense. 60-70% of the time, I look at something and I go, you're good. It makes total sense. 20% of the time, we're like, let's dig a little bit deeper. And then 1 in 10 times, I'm like, holy crap, why is Quicken charging you 2.5 points? And we got to help you jump ship. So anyhow, send it over, matt@mtmg.com. Dummy SC11, thanks for joining. Thanks for the question. How do I split debt such as primary mortgage and Heloc that are borrowed together with my wife when calculating my individual DTI ratio? If you're on the debt, you own it all. So if you were to go get a loan on your own and say, I'm only using my income and I only want to calculate my portion of that debt, you sign for it. You're a co-borrower. That whole mortgage, that whole home equity line is all going to be calculated. When we look at debt to income ratio, we don't get to split it and say, oh, you got a co-borrower, so it's only half yours and half the co-borrowers. It's all you. So there's no split in debt. Sorry if that wasn't the answer you're looking for. So you're saying 15% down. This has got to be investment property, right? 4.25. For which rate? I mean, I'm sorry, for what credit score? What credit score, and is it a primary or is it investment property? If it's investment property, sounds right. If it's primary, run fast and don't look back. Man, I need to talk to your niece's parents. They can buy 8 pairs of Yeezys. They can buy a couple investment properties in Florida if that's where they're at. So have them go to mtmg.com. We'd like them as a client. We can show them how the money invested in real estate over time is going to appreciate a lot more than a pair of Yeezys. I don't know what 8 pairs of Yeezys cost, but it's probably a down payment on a property in Florida. You put that down payment on a $200,000 property and watch it appreciate, 5, 6, 7% every year. It's $500,000 in net worth over the next couple decades versus, whatever Salvation Army those Yeezys end up in 9 years from now. So send them our way. mtmg.com. You're welcome. My guy, go big and then go home. I remember this time. Real Estate Shaw's good buddy of mine, loan officer here on the Math and Mortgage Guy team. He's got the best saying in real estate. You go big and you go home. So check out his real estate channel. Check out Real Estate Shaw on Instagram. He's got the best lighting in town, at least better than mine. He's a good dude. No Don. Buying more rentals in Colorado. I like it. Just paid off $34,000 in credit card. Yeah, that'll pull down your credit score, and so good to know that you're rescoring it in the mid 660s. People don't understand how much of a drag debt load can be on your credit score, and you could have $300,000 in the bank, be totally liquid and in great shape, but you go out and you put $20,000 on one card and $30,000 on another because you're doing a rehab on something. It'll pull down your credit score quite a bit. Lenders find it risky, right? That you've got other debt obligations, and especially if you've got a card with a $30,000 balance and you've got $27,000 charged to it, regardless of the reason, right? It's gonna drag down your credit score, and it's a quick fix. And that's the cool part about talking to someone who knows about how credit works and how you can literally pay off a few cards, do a rapid rescore, watch your credit score go up 40 points, and then get a quarter better on interest rate. A quarter when you're borrowing $500,000 is a big deal. So it's awesome that we've connected and you got Adam West helping you out. So best of luck to you. All right, Lawrence. Good to hear it's an investment property, 780 credit score, $600 for that 4.25 is right in line with what you should be seeing for 15% down. If you're able to put 20% down, you get a lower rate and less cost. If you're able to put 25% down, even lower, right? Then you're probably no cost and in the 3.75 range. Again, not everybody has the funds needed to just put down 25%. So if the capital's not there, it's not there. No big deal, right? I would rather see somebody put 15% down and get in the game than wait 2 years, right? Or God forbid you listen to Dave Ramsey and you got to wait another 27 years and save up and buy cash. Yeah, I think it's getting in the game is the most important part. Eddie True, looking for an owner-occupied version of the 1031 exchange. He called it the 1030 because he wanted it to be an owner-occupied version. Unfortunately not, Eddie. The 1031 exchange, which is beautiful, you can sell real estate, then you could buy like-kind real estate without the tax implications. And for anybody who doesn't know, I think that I try to do my best to explain these things in simple terms. If you've never heard of a 1031 exchange, you own an investment property. Let's say you bought it 7 years ago for $200,000 and now it's worth $450,000. It was in a highly appreciating market like some of the ones in Sacramento and surrounding, right? Rather than have a $250,000 tax event where you've got $250,000 in capital gains because it's appreciated that much, what you can do is enter into what's called a 1031 exchange. You talk to that 1031 person beforehand, right? Very important piece that you need to understand. Let them know what you're trying to do. They hold those funds. You sell that property, that 250 goes into their account, not yours. If it goes into yours, you're screwed. The IRS is going to come after you, at least for their, capital gains on that 250 grand. But it gets held by them. You've got a period in which you have to identify a replacement property, and then you also have to close on that investment property. Talk to those advisors, get the exact numbers. There's an identification period. You got that many days to identify. I think it's 180 days to actually close. Correct me if I'm wrong, but 1031 advisor you're going to have to talk to anyway, so you'll ask them about that kind of stuff. Then you just buy something. You basically roll that $250,000 profit into something else. You defer the taxes you would pay. You don't pay any capital gains tax. And literally people do this and they defer and they defer and they defer, and then they pass on and pass the properties to their heirs. They never pay taxes on it. It's a great program. I think there was some talks of it going away. It hasn't. It's still there. People are using it. Where people use it a lot, what I see, I deal with clients that are doing 1 to 4 unit purchases, right? And so I have clients that bought a couple single families, and then they went and started doing duplexes, then they did 4plex, and they said, Matt, I want to buy a 12plex, or I want to buy a hotel, or I want to buy this. And by that time, I'm like, it was great doing all this business we did together, but now you got to talk to a commercial lender, because I'm 1 to 4. I'm residential. Commercial 5 units plus is somebody else. And they keep kind of playing Monopoly, right? They sell 4 houses and they buy a hotel. And then they sell, in Monopoly, I guess it stops at hotel. In real life, you can continue to kind of level up, sell, roll over those capital gains. And I know a lot of people that have done that, and over time gone from $200,000 single family to now it's a $18,000, 124 unit apartment complex. Did I say 18,000? 18 million? Or a $10 million hotel or something like that, right? So real estate's cool. And being able to, not realize some of those capital gains and sell and level up, if you will, in real estate is really cool as well. All right, Lorenzo, thanks for joining. Thanks for the question. VA joint loan with 2 or more vets allows for 5 6+ unit properties, provided both vets occupy 1 unit each. Do you know any lenders that actually give these loans? I don't. That's some sort of commercial loan. Back to what I was saying about how, I'm residential, so I'm 1 to 4. Anything that we do is 1 to 4. And, the VA loan can be used to purchase. It's got to be a primary, right? And like you said, provided they both occupy a unit. I could have a vet occupy 1/2 of a duplex and buy a duplex with their VA loan, but I've never heard of a 5-6 unit property, buying a commercial. It's considered, commercial loan when it's 5 units plus. Never heard of it. It might be possible. How's the sound? Somebody told me the sound sucks the other day. I don't know. Turn the volume up. Maybe that'll help. I got a new camera coming in the next couple of weeks, so we're going to have new camera, new mic. We're going to up our game here at Matt the Mortgage Guy for 2022. More content, better equipment, to the moon. Get your Matt the Mortgage Guy stock now. Zeta, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thanks for being a loyal listener, collaborator, contributor, all that good stuff. I appreciate the heck out of you. Okay. I'm glad you came on. I'm glad you gave the thumbs up. Sorry to hear you're not feeling so great. You have my permission to retire early, get some rest. I know you're out there on the East Coast, yeah. So it's 9:30 for you now. So sorry to hear you're not feeling so well. Get some rest so you can be healthy, happy, and prosperous going into the new year. I've talked to quite a few people that have, been sick over the holidays. I don't know if it's the cold weather or what it is, but more and more people feeling under the weather. So get hydrated, get some rest, and feel better. Thanks for your support. Eddie True. 10:31 it was, yeah. All right. While I'm waiting on some more questions to roll in, I'm going to do a quick price check because I'm interested, Lawrence, 4.25. I just want to see what 20 and 25% do to that because, depending on your loan amount, I don't know what that mortgage insurance is with 15% down, but you're going to go from that 4.25 and the there's Home Point. Where's Home Point's 30-year? Come on, Home Point. There we go. I guess it doesn't get that much better at 20%. Where it really gets better is 25%. I've priced a lot of investment properties lately, I guess, because I thought it was a little bit better. I thought we were, I guess with 25% down, we're still sub 4% on an investment property, which, for a lot of people is still smoking. 3.875. And speaking of investment properties, Theo B, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here, my man. This is true, right? So you close an investment property. The broker told you that par rates are not always available on investment properties. And that's the truth, right? For anybody who doesn't know what par rates are, let me see. This might be a good one. This will be a good example, right? Par means no points are being paid. And I'll try to, this is, okay. We'll do this, Theo. Watch. We'll see if I can. Okay, let's use this scenario right here for an investment property, Theo. True. Par rates aren't always available, right? Some lenders will cap their rate sheet, right? And so maybe par is 4.125 on your investment property, but UWM caps the rate sheet 3.875. Meaning if you want 3.875, it's there, you got to pay points. And let me show you an example that makes it a little bit more clear. Par means 0 points for anybody wondering. Share screen. Let's come over here. Okay, so investment property. Here's what the rate sheet looks like, 30-year fixed. And we would call like this 4 1/8 par for all intents and purposes, right? There's actually a $469 credit. 4% is a $422 cost. So, neither one is really that far from par. Like 4 1/4 is 0.598, a half a point in credit. You go up to 3.875, 0.524, it's a half a point in cost. Now, if there's no 3.99, 4%, 4 1/8 like you see here on the UWM rate sheet, that might have been what you encountered. They're like, listen, we got 3.875. It's a half a point in cost, right? There's no rates with zero cost. And it's just because they capped the rate sheet at 3.875. A lot of this was done in these last couple of years because there's so much refinance going on that the lender is afraid that you're going to refinance their loan and cost them money. I'll show you an example. Let's say you buy this property and you're going to rehab it. It's going to be worth some more money, and you might be able to get it to appraise for more down the road. If you took a 4.5% and you said, hey, listen, my payment's going to be $100 more, but I'm going to get 3,700 in credit from the lender. You close at 4.5, you get 3,700 in credit from the lender, or 3,600 for 4.49. If you go and refinance this thing 6 months later, this lender is, kind of out that money. They gave you that credit up front, never got to make any money on the servicing of the loan because you paid it off 6 months later, right? And so some lenders just don't offer these higher rates that provide lender credit. They cap the rate sheet here and say you're taking 3.875 or better. Less risky for them that you're going to pay it off, right? Do you have to pay half a point, $1,500 in points? Yeah, but that's the going rate. So like you had seen, and I'll show you here. I don't know why I got all these. I priced it at a couple different lenders, got all these arms showing up. Same scenario right here. And as you discussed, like 3.875, it's capped. A little bit cheaper than the one we just saw at Home Point pricing wise. But I can't scroll down any farther. It's just not there. So that is a true statement that you heard. The broker was not yanking your chain or smoking mirrors. They were telling you the truth. All right. Chris Zarbach. What's the difference between United Wholesale Mortgage and Rocket Mortgage? Any difference? There's a couple of huge differences. And the full transparency, I'm a big fan of United Wholesale Mortgage. I broker them a ton of business. The main difference for me is that United Wholesale Mortgage is a wholesale lender that gets 100% of their business from brokers. So a local broker who's local to your market refers the business to United Wholesale Mortgage. United Wholesale Mortgage does everything in their power to provide service, speed, technology, to make it a great customer experience, make it a great experience for the broker and the broker's staff, because they want repeat business from that broker. They rely on the broker sending business, just like I rely on past clients referring me business, realtors referring me business. I care about my reputation because that's how my business continues to grow. Good reputation, good service, getting loans done in a timely fashion, all that stuff, right? Rocket Mortgage, while brokers can broker to them, a big portion of their business is what's considered their retail division, which is a huge call center where a Super Bowl ad or an internet ad or wherever their ads are showing up are, providing humongous amounts of leads into this huge funnel where, no offense to the person who's working in the call center at Rocket Mortgage, nowhere near the level of experience, the level of knowledge, and more importantly to you, the level of reputation management, repeat business management. I'm going to provide the best service I can, the best rate and term, the best structured mortgage for you, because I want your cousin to do business with us. I want your mother-in-law to do business. I want your neighbor and your coworkers and all of them, right? So I'm providing a great experience to you so I can get that. Rocket, on the other hand, in my opinion, has tons and tons of leads coming in, and they've got salespeople on the phone. And trust me when I tell you this, I literally talked to somebody who used to work for Rocket, where if they're trying to do more cash out refinance, they will have sales meetings talking about how do we trick the consumer? How do we get the consumer to think it's a good idea to go from 2.875 to 3.5 on a cash out refinance, charge them a ton up front, charge them a higher rate. they're a for-profit business and they've got salespeople that are selling like it's going out of style, like really without the consumer's best interest in mind. I know that. Granted, I run a for-profit business. My company makes money, but I know that I can make less money per client. I can provide better service, and in turn, I'm going to get more referrals and do more business, right? I've had too many people come to me about bad experiences with Rocket, about them being deceitful, about points being charged, about them, quite frankly, proposing loans that made no sense. A loan estimate, a loan being disclosed that I would never, ever, 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 to my worst enemy, propose some of these loans, right? FHA cash out refinances to people that should have no business being an FHA, or a rate and term refinance where someone's saving $32 a month, right? Like these type of loans should not be written. The only way they would be written is if somebody was trying to meet a sales quota, and I see more of that at Rocket, right? At UWM, it's only brokers sending business to them, and the vast majority of mortgage brokers that I know care about consumers, and even if they're not the most caring brokers in the world, they rely on referrals. They rely on good reputation. They have to do a good job, right? Or they die. Rocket's got unlimited marketing funds where they're not going to die. They could have call center employees that do, terrible job, provide terrible advice, and they're going to continue to have 10,000 leads show up in the queue of their call center tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. And that's why they write as many loans as they write. Okay, rant over. The opinions expressed in this video are mine and mine only. Just some guy on YouTube's opinion. Hashtag all in. Okay. Rami. If I have a paid off house, can I still refinance to get cash out? You certainly can. You just want to make sure that it makes financial sense for you. This is something actually that I've done a ton of. If anybody hasn't seen me on One Rental at a Time, my buddy Mike Zuber, that's the name of his channel, One Rental at a Time, real estate investor in California. He owns about 180 rental units, has a book, One Rental at a Time, has a course, One Rental at a Time. His latest books, 15 Conversations with Real Estate Millionaires. Tons of the people he has that he interviews on his channel are, real estate investors, or, have something going on in the real estate place. So subscribe to his channel. Got great information. But through that and through me guest appearing on there every Wednesday for the last year plus, I've got many, many people from the investing community on top of all the clientele that I had from, prior to and continue to get through word of mouth and referrals, are taking cash out of a paid off house, either to invest in more real estate or taking cash out for other reasons. A couple things that I would say is, if it's $30,000 cash out, probably doesn't make a lot of sense. If it's for, a vacation or a depreciating asset or something like that, probably doesn't make sense. If you're doing it strategically and you're pulling cash out of a paid off house to go redeploy on a cash flowing asset, on an appreciating asset like an investment property. Some people that have $100,000 in credit card debt, it's probably going to make sense to borrow the money at close to 3% on a 30-year fixed, pay off that credit card debt, and then have a plan for paying that mortgage off again. But anyhow, the answer is yes. You just have to qualify, right? Meaning credit, income, and the requirements to qualify for the mortgage are still going to be in place. And you want to look, I've got some videos on cash out refinance versus home equity line of credit. Home equity line might make more sense, like in the case where you need $10,000 to replace a roof and you just don't have it. Don't do a cash out refinance for $10,000. That would be, a home equity line of credit would be the best for that. If it was, $175,000, you had plans to, pay off some debt, invest in an investment property, always, talk to somebody you like and trust, right? Oh man, the GOAT. Always a pleasure to hear from the GOAT. Thanks for joining, Kyle. I appreciate you seeing you on here. I was watching your video today. I meant to ping you. I need to know, are you now using the thing where you can do it in real time, where you have that side by side? Ping me either here or separate. Let me know what you're using. What fancy technology you youngsters are using nowadays to be able to have your smiling face and soft voice on one side, and then as you were going through the cool stuff that's on winthehouseyoulove.com on the other side. I'd love to know what that is. I got big plans for 2022. You guys better watch out. Better camera, better lighting, better audio, some cool stuff I'm going to learn from Kyle on how to, jot notes on one side, talk on the other. Big things. I just got to, I'm not the smartest dude in the world, but as long as I got smart friends, young folks like, see, I knew you did it with Ecamm. That was what I was curious. It looked good, dude. You looked really friggin' good. If you guys want to know what my channel is going to look like in 2 years, go to Win the House You Love. He's doing all the cool stuff right now. And 2 years from now, that guy's going to be like light years ahead. But at least, you'll know what I'm working towards as far as, smooth looking video and all that good stuff. So thanks for that. Ecamm. I got it. Because that way, I'll get with you separate, man. I think I can plug in. I can record a video, download straight to my laptop, all kinds of cool stuff. Ecamm. All right, I'm in. I'm excited. Getting younger every day. Been pre-approved for FHA. Can't lock in till 1/1/22. Why? The only thing I can think about, Valerie, is if one, it has to do with your close date, or two, if you're in a county where the FHA loan limit has increased and you're buying with a new higher limit. The conventional loan limits, when they go up or they're announced, the lenders are like, okay, send us those loans. We're able to, use those higher loan limits immediately. Some lenders, you got to wait until the first of the year. With FHA, I think you've got to wait to pull an FHA case number until the new year. So I'm not sure if you've been pre-approved, but you're not like in contract to buy something. I wouldn't necessarily think that you'd be in a hurry to lock anyway. Like you want to have a executed contract that the close date on, then you could submit the loan to a lender and lock it. And, if it's closing on February 5th, then you want to lock it in, 30 days prior to that. But yeah, that would be the only reason, is that there's like a new loan limit or something. But yeah, pre-approval, 99% of lenders aren't locking you with pre-approval. If they are, and there's some sort of like lock and shop, I've never seen a program like that actually makes sense. More often than not, it's like a much higher rate, and there's weird little things that go along with that, where like you're better off just like go out and home shop, find the house you love, put in an offer, get your offer accepted, submit the loan, and lock it then. Corey Brunson, thanks for joining, my man. I love seeing the same names every week, man. I appreciate the heck out of the consistency you guys show on your end. I'll try to show up here every single Monday. I've been lucky so far. I got busy, stuff going on with both my boys playing basketball and coaching that, and we got baseball in the spring. I specifically asked, like, I can do basketball practice any night of the week. Let's just keep Mondays open for the live stream. So thanks for continuing to come back for more. Hopefully it means that there's some out value being added here. Live in your primary and plan to move out into a new purchase. Will lenders force me to actually place a tenant first and move out so it doesn't sink my DTI? Or is a signed lease good enough? Amazing question, Corey. This is something that's super, super common. You can have a signed lease in place. And what happens is when you're departing this residence, it's departing residence income. You get a lease that's in place and you're in contract, and your lease is February 1st, 2022. They're going to move into the new place. $2,000 a month lease. We can use 75% of it, meaning $1,500 we added to your income on the income side to offset, whatever mortgage you have on that property, so that your, like you said, that your DTI isn't sunk. We don't want to sink your DTI. BOJIN. Thanks for joining. Another familiar name. I took forbearance. Wells Fargo put a restriction on my Heloc. Not surprising, right? Like, you're in forbearance, and so they're protecting themselves. Out of forbearance and loan mod is final. They told me Heloc is permanently restricted as long as I'm on loan mod. I canceled Heloc. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, right? Like, that, home equity line of credit, which is sitting behind this first loan, you go into forbearance, and so you're not paying here. They're going to freeze this and say, we don't want to have this $80,000 home equity line that's sitting behind the first loan. Because truth be told, home equity line, a second mortgage, any of that stuff, like, they're in a much, much more risky position. If, God forbid, lose your job, stop paying, you go into foreclosure, the first mortgage is in first position, meaning they're going to get paid first. So if there's some, foreclosure event that happens and that house gets sold, whether that's at a public auction or on the public auction or on the, steps of the courthouse, however your, county and state does it, that home equity line is just like going to eventually just have to write that debt off, right? And so when they see troubles a brewing, which might not even be trouble, you just took forbearance because you could, they're going to freeze it automatically. And, I think that it's not just that it's big bad Wells Fargo, but most all banks or credit unions are going to put a restriction, freeze, close, whatever they're going to do. And then when you go into a loan modification, I would guess, and I'm not an expert in this stuff at all, that most all banks are going to do the same. I love knocking Wells Fargo because I'm not a big fan of them, but in this case, like, I agree with that's what most of them are going to do. Corey wants to know whether you got that gravy 40-year term on your modification. Yeah, I'd be interested to know too, like, what do they end up doing for the loan mod? Did they lower your rate? Did they keep it the same? Did they, do a new 30-year? Did they do it based on how many years you had left? Did they go to a 40-year? I haven't talked to a lot of folks. I remember, quite a few people in forbearance. I know people are exiting now, and I'd love to hear what sort of loan modifications got put into place and what folks are doing. No Code Dawn. I learned about you on One Rental Time. Well, that's good. I don't got to tell you about One Rental Time then. Refinancing your free and clear home in Arizona to buy more rentals in Colorado. Sweet. How's the Colorado market? I don't know much about anything out of state. All the rentals I own are in California. As crazy as that sounds, as crazy as I may be for that, I just like to have them within driving distance. I can talk to the property manager. I can go drive to their office and ask them what the heck's going on if need be. Had an experience with some out-of-state rentals that didn't go so great. My wife warned me. She, didn't think the Alabama home purchases were a good idea. Did it anyway. She got to say, I told you so, like she's done so many times in our beautiful marriage. 13 years. Seems like yesterday, babe. You are very welcome for my insights. I do what I can. Just, mortgage broker and a mic. Crayler Made. What's up, my man? Thanks for the super chat. I truly appreciate it. Super excited that you closed on a home, because I know that, the road's not always easy for self-employed borrowers, but you did it. So congrats. To answer your question, am I still seeing clients pay significantly over ask for contracts? Yes, I still am. And I wouldn't say significantly over. Like, I remember people talking about early 2021 where buyers were, there was like a craze and dozens of offers. this winter, this fall and winter, at least in the markets that I'm doing the majority of business in, all over California, really, the inventory hasn't been the nicest, right? It's not like the prettiest homes and the most well done in the best neighborhoods, and they're still selling at list or above. I'm not seeing something listed for 400 sell for 480. Some of the, when we had the craze, what do they call it? There's another term they used for it, for like, people were just out of their minds. And where do I think the market is going in the next year? I think that we're still going to see home price appreciation. Whenever I've been asked to kind of pin what I thought was my number for 2022, I think we still see like 6 to 8% home price appreciation, just because there's so much demand. There's no real like event that I see happening where we're going to have a huge influx of inventory. There's not enough building. There's not enough, people going into foreclosure or anything like that. That's going to cause a big glut of inventory. So there's going to be, continued demand. And even if rates go up 0.5%, there's still going to be plenty of demand to kind of eat up whatever inventory comes on the market. So home price appreciation should slow, is the hope, right? So we're not going to see double digit home price appreciation, but probably 6 to 8%. That estimate is probably somewhere in the middle between some that predict 2 to 3% appreciation, and then people are still up in the 14, 15% range on predictions. I'm calling it right in the middle. Valerie Rogers, in contract. I would bet that you not being able to lock it until the first has to do with the FHA loan limits. It's got to be, right? If you're closing it on 128.22, yeah, ping your loan officer and ask him like, hey, what's going on? Feel free to, sidebar, shoot me something, matt@mtmg.com if it's something that you prefer to take offline. But that's the only good reason I would think that you wouldn't be locking right now. But the good news is you're a month out, so you got some time to figure it out. As a buyer, like, you don't want to have these unanswered questions, right? So like, my hope for everybody is that you're working with a lender who's able to answer your questions. And granted, I can't get on the phone with all 45 people that are in contracts, but like, somebody on my team is going to respond to you. Somebody on the team is going to be able to say, hey, listen, here's what's going on. Here's why, book a call on my calendar, another loan officer's calendar, to go over any questions you have, because, the biggest purchase of your life, you shouldn't be going at it alone. It's probably a case for why, like, it's important that you work with not just any old lender, right? You don't just pull up Google and say, what's the cheapest lender out there, right? Because then you're going to be like in the dark, not knowing what's going on. God forbid, like, you get 2 weeks down the road, they lock your loan and it's totally different than what you saw. And then you're like so close to closing that you're like, now what do I do? I already paid for the appraisal. This company's got the appraisal, and, I'm so close to closing. I don't want to like risk anything falling out of contract. Don't do that. Right. So anyhow, ping me if you can't get the question answered from your current loan officer. We'll see how we can help. All right, Zita, do you think it's a wise idea to refinance a paid-off home for $50,000 to make repairs, like a new septic, furnace, things like that? Probably not. The problem with the lower loan amounts is that a lot of the costs, where you might have like a lender fee of $1,000, $1,200 in title fees, an appraisal, you start getting up to $3,000, $3,500 in lender fees, and you're only borrowing $50,000. That's like 7% of the loan amount in fixed cost, right? If you're borrowing $400, then it's a much smaller percentage. Then it's 1.7% 7%, quote unquote, fees, right? And so on the smaller ones, if you can get a home equity line, some of them are fixed, so that might make sense. You got a good plan to pay it off. Even in some cases where you might pay a slightly higher interest rate, it makes sense if there's not as much fees involved. Granted, you could structure it in a way where there's no lender fee. Title fees are hard to get around. The terms on a $50,000 loan aren't going to be great either, right? So I think I lean towards no, Zeta, but I guess every situation is different. Depends on what options you have and how 911 those repairs are. BOJIN got himself into a 2.875 40-year loan. That is sweet, Corey says. I agree it's sweet, but here's my thing. As much as, well, I don't know. My mind changes when the wind blows. The only thing I don't like about the 40-year term is the fact that it lulls you into this lower payment, right? Let's say that your payment is now $1,300 a month and you were used to paying $1,650. Great, you're paying $1,300. One, you don't get lulled into it to where if you ever wanted to move, it's huge sticker shock to go from $1,300 to $2,000, right? If you were in $1,650, you went to $2,000, it wouldn't feel like that big of a jump. Another thing is if the $1,650 payment was amortized over 30 years and $500 a month was going towards principal, now you're paying $1,300, but since it's stretched out over 40 years, now you've only got $200 going towards principal. Now you're going to look up in 3 years and be like, my principal only went down $7,700. What's going on? I would consider doing something that mentally kept you paying the same per month. And if paying an extra $300 or $350 towards principal kept you like $1,650 is my housing payment. $1,650 is my housing payment. One, that's an extra $4,000 a year that gets clicked off the principal. Or if you're of the camp of like, I don't want to pay off a 2.875 interest rate. That's crazy. Take the $350 and invest it. Index fund, retirement fund, whatever it is, just to keep you paying $1,650 a month. If there's no reason why like $1,300 is all you can afford right now. I don't know. That's just my quick thoughts, and that the only downside to the 40-year is that, in my opinion, that it's like stretching it out to where like very little is going towards principal, and two, what a lot of people are going to do, not you specifically, but this is human beings, I think. You're going to have an extra $350 a month in that scenario where I just laid out, and you'll find a way to spend it. It might not necessarily change anything about your life, right? Like you won't even notice. An extra DoorDash per month, an extra night out, and an extra this, right? And so you're not really feeling it or seeing it. There's no like benefit from it. But then all of a sudden, when you start to think about an upgrade or something else that costs $2,000 a month, or even back to the $1,650 you're paying before, like that $350 a month that you're saving has kind of like just injected itself into lifestyle inflation. Speaking of inflation, we won't go down that rabbit hole. What determines if departing rental income used is 75% of market rent for the actual lease agreement amount? We can use 75% of the lease agreement amount as long as it's in line with market rents. If you showed a lender a lease agreement for $4,700 a month and your 3-bedroom, 2-bath market rent was only $2,500, they would call BS, right? And so we're going to use it. I've always seen it used. If there's any rent survey done or anything, it's just to kind of fact check you. Make sure you're not full of bologna, otherwise known as baloney. All right, conspiracy theory. Any thoughts on Own Nothing and Be Happy? Economic World Forum. I haven't seen that. Economic World Forum. Own nothing and be happy. I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy. I mean, sometimes you can get down a rabbit hole on YouTube and find some pretty interesting things. But I'll check it out, Jason. You know, why not? All right. I'll check that email for sure. Give you some honest feedback. Campbell C. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the question. If you want to buy a house for $300,000, but it needs $50,000 in urgent repairs, is there a type of lender loan who would lend the total amount? This sounds like a FHA 203K. And, you know, these loans are used for these type of properties, right? And so this isn't a property, as long as you don't get beat out by a cash buyer, that's you know, a buyer that can go in there and buy it cash, rehab it, and then flip it. And the seller doesn't mind a 45 or 60 day close. The FHA 203K is probably going to take that. If it's, you know, they got two different programs. They got a streamline and then a standard FHA 203K. The standard one is if there's any structural damage or it's over 30,000, I think is their number. They are going to, I'm not super familiar, but just know that FHA 203K, I was going to start talking about it from the information I know from years ago. I haven't wrote one of these loans in 3 years. And so your best bet is find someone who's an FHA 203K expert. If you want to send me a message, I'll find you one. Any lender who's like, yeah, I'll do that, is not the right lender, right? You want someone who does a handful of these every month, because you got to find, you know, different pieces of this. They got to have somebody, you know, from FHA who's assigned to you and assigned to this, that's signing off, getting the contractors paid. There's got to be FHA contractors involved in it. It's a lot of moving parts, but yes, this program exists where they're going to allow you to put down your 3.5% down on an FHA and then bake in those repairs, right? And they'll come out and do an assessment on the after repair value is going to be 400,000. So you're going to buy it for, you know, 300, needs 50 in repairs. And they're going to basically do those repairs, pay those contractors, give you a $350,000 loan or whatever the loan is minus 3.5% down. And so, yeah, it exists. FHA 203K. We're not the ones for it though. I'll refer you to somebody who does a lot of them. My kids and grandkids are in Colorado, so I use it as a write-off vacation. Let's check on properties. Sweet. I like it. Yeah, go out there and you know, it's a work trip. I made an offer 20K over ask, and the guy is holding out for a cash offer. What's he going to do if he doesn't get a cash offer? Crayler made. This is the beauty of real estate, man. See, like, you get to watch it go up in value, which I wouldn't necessarily advocate, right? You don't want to be watching every day like a stock you own. But I promise you, you wake up in 10 years or 20 years and you've got that thing almost paid off and it's gone up 100, 200, 300,000 in value. You're going to look back and be like, wow, home ownership is pretty cool. I wonder why homeowners have a net worth 45 times that of renters, maybe because of all this, like, you know, forced savings as I pay my mortgage principal down and the appreciation over time. Real estate's pretty neato. Mr. Mark McDonough, the king of Sacramento real estate, Sacramento real estate on YouTube. Yeah, dude. I was going to make a joke, but I'll just leave it at thank you for the help with the lighting. Getting better, right? And I'm getting a new camera. I've decided 2022. We got a little bit in the budget for a new camera, so we shall be upgraded. Kyle and you both mentioned eCam to me, so you guys got to teach me how to do that. Rubello 93. Personally, I've got some single families and I've got some fourplexes. Kind of fell into the fourplexes, which ended up being great. Had a real estate agent who told me he had a investor client. Earlier in the stream, we talked about a 1031 exchange. This investor client was selling a fourplex, was going to 1031 exchange into an auto body shop, I think. Investment sold, investment purchased, so he could do that with the 1031. Needed to close quick, was selling it for a good deal. Realtor brought it to me and was like, listen, I know you're a real estate investor. What about this? I said, nah, not the city I'm looking at, not the property type I'm looking at. I'm cool. He's like, bro, look at these numbers. So bought that one. And then just so happened another investor had a property around the corner, probably 6 months later, another fourplex. Numbers made sense. Picked that puppy up too. And then my first investment property, our first, my wife and I, always got to say our. That's a life hack for any married men in the building. Even if you're not in a community property state, it's ours. It's not yours. First one, like many clients I work with, and probably the advice I give people is the single family that we bought and then we moved out of, and it turns into a rental, right? Like that's the easiest way to get it. The terms are still primary residence terms because we moved out of it. It was our primary for a decade. And then, added some other SFRs, fancy term for single family residence. So handful of them, couple fourplexes, got some money invested in some friends, real estate syndications, some hotel builds and stuff like that. So, all right, Crailer Maid. This is where we all get to collectively give some feedback. If anybody knows anything about cameras, I know little to nothing. Kyle sent me some recommendations. My buddy Jeb Smith had some recommendations. Mark McDonough had some recommendations. Crailer Maid, what is your recommendation? Probably, like, I'm not trying to buy anything super fancy. Was it Jeb that said Sony A6400? I mean, I do this with a friggin' Logitech webcam that costs $50, right? And so I don't need to spend $5,000. I also know that it's been a good year. I can drop a couple dimes. Sony A6400. How much does that one cost? Mirrorless. It's like $900. And then you got to buy like a man. See, this is where I got to hang out with young kids more often. Crispy. Crispy's a good word. Kyle has some crispy footage. Sony A7C or Sony A7. Is that 4? Is that the Roman numeral 4? All right, I'm going to check those out. I want to get crispy, bro. I don't know. I mean, Kyle's only 25 years old. I'm 41. If I get too crispy, you're going to see all the wrinkles. Or is getting crispy good? Krispy Kreme. All right. Thanks for the input, dude. I'll hit you up if I got any questions too on that. All right. No code on. You're buying houses in Colorado for $53,000 each? Oh, you bought them in 2016. Lucky ducky. Now they're worth freaking $180 a piece. Dang. So you bought 5 of them for $265, and now each one of them is worth pert near $200. Well done. Well done. What about one house in 2017? Done missed the boat. Two. Yeah. We did some purchasing in 06. We did some purchasing in 17, in 19, in 20, in 21. I don't think you got to time it by at the bottom. Just buy real estate and wait. Don't wait to buy and wait. Is that one played out yet? I think I've heard it too much. All right, Jason. So I can save my time. I don't have to go to that own nothing and be happy. Sometimes I feel that those that don't refinance will be the winners once the pandemic subsides. How so? The ones that don't refinance, like don't get in more debt. I mean, those that refinance from 4.25% to 3%, 4.25% to 2.875, they're winning for sure. They're paying a lot less interest and a lot less per month. They're crushing. I guess maybe what you're saying is, some people that are getting highly leveraged, pulling out cash out of everything they own. Maybe so. Jimmy Henry, other forms of conventional loans that helps with repairs on purchase offer. Yeah, there's a conventional product that's similar to that FHA 203K. It's what's the name of it? Home something. I do not recall. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Jason. I made a video on this too, where I said, listen, not all of the cash out refinances in 2022 are going to be good ones. And if you're, thinking like this, like, want your equity? Here you go. Here's your new monthly payment. 100% agreed. Not the way to go about it. I think the people that are smart about it are doing it like with some purpose, right? And repurposing that that debt, reinvesting it, and doing good with it. I mean, I know a bunch of smart people that are levered up, but seeing amazing returns, right? Where they're borrowing at 3 and getting 15 in return, like they're crushing. And if that 15% return goes down to 10 or goes down to 5 or goes down to 0, like they're not so over leveraged that they're going to crash and burn. Speaking of crash and burn, I'm tired. I'm getting the heck out of here. Let me answer a few more of these before I jump off. Is there any form of conventional loan that could help with repairs on the purchase of an investment property? I don't think so. I think that's only owner occupied on that one. But you can double check. FHA title loans. Now you guys are getting in the weeds, man. I don't know. They used to do signature loans up to $7,500 or $60K for fourplexes. Man, I've heard that term, and I honestly don't remember what the heck it's referring to. So there's that. 1.89% on a 5-year fixed. So it's like an ARM of some sort. That's some sweet. Kimberly, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. No code Don. Yeah, dollar cost averaging. Some of my real estate, smoking deal. Some of my real estate, probably bought it higher. But over the long term, I'm just dollar cost averaging into millions and millions of real estate. And I think we're going to do all right. All right. Thanks to everyone who joined. Thanks to everyone who contributed all the questions. I appreciate it. Next week, I think it's just me. The week after, on January 10th, I'm going to get my buddy Jimmy Hobson on here. We're going to talk everything VA. He's a VA expert. So get your VA questions ready. If you know someone who's getting a VA loan in 2022, let them know. I'm just going to say it here. That way I got to do it. January 10th. Hopefully Jimmy can make it on that date, or else to be determined, right? But we'll talk all about VA loans. It's an amazing loan. There's some specific rules around VA where even somebody who writes a lot of VA loans, I realize, like, man, this guy's an absolute expert. He knows some things I don't. I've learned some new things in the last week, even about some special caveats and rules and whatnot when I talk to Jimmy and some other folks that are in some of the mortgage groups I'm in. So anyhow, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. And until next time, we gonna see.